Psychopaths will mug you. Narcissists will charm you. Machiavellians will invade you. That is a direct quote from Dr. Daniel Jones, one of the world's leading experts on manipulation. And honestly, it completely sets the stage for what we're about to uncover. You know, we kind of have this habit of picturing psychological predators as, like, cinematic villains lurking in dark alleys, right? But the absolute truth is, they're walking right alongside us. They're analyzing us and quietly invading our lives completely out in the open.
So, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're totally exposing the terrifying reality of the Dark Triad. Now, this term was originally coined by researchers Del Paulhaus and Kevin Williams, and it groups together the three absolute most dangerous, low-conscience personality types in human psychology. We're going to break down exactly how these predators think, why they target the people they do, and honestly, what I found to be the most fascinating part of all this, how you can actually protect yourself.
Act 1. Predators in plain sight.
Okay, so these toxic individuals, they really aren't just rare anomalies locked away in maximum security prisons. They actually make up a pretty significant percentage of the population, walking around with these deeply dangerous personality traits that can just completely destroy the lives of anyone around them. But it begs the question, why are we such easy prey? Well, it essentially comes down to something called the truth default theory. Basically, as a society, our biological and psychological baseline is to just trust others. If someone tells you it's raining outside, your default setting is to just take their word for it, right? And listen, that is a beautiful thing. We'd literally collapse as a functioning society if we didn't have basic benevolence and integrity. But that exact natural wiring to trust, that's exactly what makes us the perfect target for people who are playing by a completely different set of rules.
To put that into perspective, statistically speaking, about 8 to 10% of the general population has some problematic level of callousness and manipulative intent. That means roughly 1 in 10 people operates with a dark triad trait. Just think about that for a second. Whether you're sitting in a coffee shop or your next office meeting, there's a really high statistical chance that someone in that room is quietly analyzing you right now, just looking for an angle.
Act 2. Anatomy of the Triad. It's so incredibly easy to just lump every toxic ex or nightmare boss into the narcissist bucket. But actually, doing that creates this massive blind spot that these predators can easily exploit. We have to know exactly who we're dealing with. Now, all three of these types share a total lack of empathy, and yeah, they will absolutely betray you, but their inner motivations, totally different. Psychopaths basically lack impulse control. They're driven by immediate gratification and often act super recklessly. Narcissists, on the other hand, are completely enslaved to their fragile egos and their public persona. They constantly need you to validate them. But Machiavellians, they are the ultimate threat because they are highly strategic, they are patient, they delay gratification, and they are purely focused on the long-term bottom line.
Actually, before we dive deeper into the Machiavellian, let's just look at how a narcissist hooks you in the first place. Dr. Jones compares a narcissist's love bombing and fake charm directly to the street drug synthetic cocaine. No, really. Both of them synthetically stretch your brain's pleasure scale. They completely flood your dopamine receptors with this massive, artificial, larger-than-life excitement. And the real danger here? Once your brain adapts to that crazy synthetic high, totally normal, healthy, grounded reality feels completely boring by comparison. It literally makes you crave the toxicity.
Act 3. The Machiavellian Mastermind.
So, while the narcissist just wants your applause and the psychopath wants to empty your wallet right this second, the Machiavellian is playing an entirely different game. They are definitely the most covert, society-infiltrating member of the triad. They have this absolutely chilling cognitive ability called spontaneous mentalizing. Basically, while you think you're just having a totally normal, casual conversation, they are playing the interaction like a strategic game of chess. They have the extreme impulse control to pause, mentalize exactly what your next move is going to be, and calculate their response purely for their own long-term profit. They aren't reactive at all, which is terrifying. They're extremely proactive.
To really see this twisted logic in action, let's look at the wallet test. Imagine a stranger leaves a wallet on a table, no cameras anywhere. All three dark triad types are going to steal it. The psychopath snatches the cash instantly. But what if it's the CEO's wallet and the security cameras are rolling? The Machiavellian will play the absolute saint, though return it completely intact. But why? Out of the goodness of their heart? Absolutely no way. They do it purely to build manipulative trust. The crucial takeaway here is that their morality is entirely situational. They will literally act like the most ethical person in the room if it eventually secures them a much bigger payout down the line.
And because they're so stealthy, you really have to watch their actions, not their words.
A major red flag? A Machiavellian will absolutely refuse written contracts, always pushing for those backroom handshakes instead. They also get really irritated when you try to verify facts or pump the brakes on a deal. They love using artificial scarcity, telling you an offer expires in 10 minutes just to force your hand. And their greatest magic trick? Weaponizing your own empathy against you. They will fake deep moral outrage or play the victim just to guilt you into dropping your boundaries.
Act 4. Your psychological attack surface.
Now, if you want to survive these people, you have to stop looking at them for a second and start looking at yourself. How do these predators know exactly which of your buttons to push? Well, the answer is passive reconnaissance. Dr. Jones borrows this brilliant concept from cybersecurity called an attack surface. Just like a hacker looks for weak code in a computer network to exploit, a Dark Triad personality maps out your exposed psychological vulnerabilities, your daily habits, and even your digital footprint. Machiavellians, they don't just blindly attack. They stalk your social media. They learn your industry buzzwords. They basically tailor a precise spear phishing approach designed specifically for your unique emotional blind spots.
So what exactly are they searching for? I found this mind-blowing. Your vulnerabilities often include traits that are actually wonderful to have in normal society. Things like high agreeableness, which makes you quick to trust and forgive. Or hemophilia, which is the tendency to fall in love quickly and often. That makes you super susceptible to their artificial charm. They also hunt for unresolved past trauma. I know it sounds straight out of a horror movie, but researchers have proven that predators can literally read unconscious human radar. They can sense past trauma or a really fast-falling romantic heart from a mile away.
Now listen, if you're recognizing yourself in some of those traits right now, hear me loud and clear. The abuse is absolutely not your fault. These individuals are playing by a completely different set of rules than the rest of humanity agreed upon. You shouldn't have to walk around suspicious of every single person you meet. But surviving a relationship with one of these people, it does require a radical, albeit temporary, shift in how you view the world.
Act 5. The CBR Survival Strategy.
When you finally realize you're dealing with a dark personality, maybe it's a toxic boss holding your career hostage or a partner you can't immediately get away from, you need actionable psychological armor. So Dr. Jones created the CBR framework. Think of it like this. If CPR helps you breathe when you're physically suffocating, CBR helps you breathe when you're suffocating in a toxic relationship. It stands for cold, bottom line, and rational. It's an incredibly tactical framework to help you outmaneuver a dark personality without losing your own soul in the process.
Let's break it down. Step 1 is cold. When they're screaming at you or completely twisting your words, you need to channel a strict business-only mindset. Use the fly-on-the-wall paradigm. Detach yourself emotionally. I want you to imagine you're literally a security camera mounted up on the ceiling, just subjectively observing this interaction happen to some random stranger. Doing this stops you from internalizing their toxic behavior and prevents them from actively traumatizing you in the moment. Just remember, it's not personal to them, it's just business, so treat it that way. Step 2 is bottom line. You have to locate what your ultimate goal is here. Why are you even staying in the room? Why are you putting up with this nightmare boss? Maybe it's the paycheck that's funding your daughter's college tuition, right? Whatever that reason is, lock onto it tightly. Because taking a moral stand against a person who literally has zero morals is a completely useless, losing game. They'll just spend the rest of their waking days gaslighting you and trying to ruin your reputation. You have to abandon the need for a moral victory and focus entirely on securing your tangible, bottom-line survival.
And step 3 is rational. This is the hard part, because you really have to check your own ego at the door. If you know what your bottom line is, you rationally ask yourself, what is the single fastest way to get there? Sometimes that just means surviving tactically. It means feeding the manipulator's ego, telling them exactly what they want to hear, totally agreeing on stuff that doesn't actually matter, all while you quietly and rationally plot your safe exit behind the scenes. But please, take this as a very serious warning. CBR is a temporary psychological tourniquet. It is absolutely not a permanent lifestyle. Living in this super cold, hyper-rational mode for too long, it can eventually erode your own ethics. It's kind of like fighting an MMA match entirely on defense. Eventually, I don't care how good your blocks are, you are going to get hit. So, making a solid escape plan and working with a licensed therapist to process the emotional damage, that is absolutely essential to truly surviving this.
These hidden predators, they absolutely thrive in the shadows of our own good nature. But by understanding exactly how psychopaths, narcissists, and Machiavellians operate, you actually take away their single greatest weapon, the element of surprise. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final, kind of chilling thought to reflect on as you go about the rest of your day.
Look around your office, your social circle, maybe even your inbox. Who is currently analyzing your attack surface?